be 24 beaches on Lake Michigan, but only one matters this weekend, and that's Oak Street Beach. Just take a look at this iconic venue, one of the best on the AVP. Stadium court is already packed and ready to roll for another women's matchup. The defending champs from not just last year, but the year prior are about to take the sand. That's Taryn, Kloth, and Kristen Nuss. Welcome to the 2024 Chicago Open, the last and final Heritage Series event of the season, and your last shot to get into the league. Hi, everyone. Cameron Irwin alongside Olympic gold medalist Rich Lamborn. Welcome to the booth, man. You ready to roll today?
I am so excited to be in Chicago. I love this event. The backdrop, we see our hotel right there, the Drake. It's right on Lake Michigan. I'm stoked, Cameron.
It doesn't get much better than this. And we talked about it. Taryn, Kloth, Kristen Nuss currently on stadium court. They will face off against Xolani, Hodel, and Kahlee York, a team that qualified into this event previously. You can see it's a 1 versus 16. We've also got more matchups to come. Another women's matchup will be coming up next on our stadium court coverage. Humana Paredes and Wilkerson. They're back on the AVP after winning the silver medal in Paris. They'll face off against the 14, Furch and Shaw. Then the fellows will take the court again. Allison and Corey picking up a big first round win, and now we'll face off against the #1 seed. Here's Mark Sherman for your intros.
Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Are you ready to go at home? Are y'all ready? Y'all ready? Chicago, we ready for this? Ready for our next match? Yes, beautiful. What a gorgeous day. Definitely no more rain coming today. I promise. Yeah, we'll see. It's gorgeous right now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get these teams out here. They are ready to rock. They've been warming up, and they are all looking ready and raring to go. This first player out of Stanford University, everybody, out of Huntington Beach, California. She was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sport athlete in high school. Basketball, soccer, track, indoor, and beach volleyball. And aren't we so happy she stuck with beach, ladies and gentlemen? Let me hear it for Xolani. Hodel. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Yep. Got it. And her partner out of Bradenton, Florida, everybody. She played her college ball at the Louisiana State University. Go Tigers. Yes, absolutely. Welcome her out here, everybody. Let me hear it for Kahlee York. That's good. High five. Nice. And their opponents also out of LSU. Okay. Nice try. Nice try, Taryn. She had the bad face. She was all ready to go. She held it for exactly half a second. Out of LSU, everybody, out of Creighton University, out of sunny South Dakota, and now New Orleans. Let me hear it for the Taryn Kloth. Yes, you were a little better holding that straight. Oh, she's so mad at everybody. She's so mad. She can't stand it. You just need to get on out there and do your thing. Ladies and gentlemen, out of Metairie, Louisiana, let me hear it for the Olympian, Kristen Nuss. TJ, and of course, representing the United States
back-to-back champions in Chicago, Taryn, Kloth, Kristen Nuss, also coming off their Olympic debut in Paris. One of the most dynamic duos you will see in beach volleyball around the world, quite honestly. They're on the left side of your screen, the 16 seed Hodel and York, the up-and-comers to the right. First serve for Kristen Nuss. She starts on Hodel. Stanford product is blocked back. Taryn, Kloth. I mean, we talk about it all this time. This team is so dynamic, but what exactly does that mean?
Well, what it describes to me is the combination that they have defensively, right? We saw the blocking there from Taryn Kloth. We talk a tremendous amount about the defense of Kristen Nuss, but the blocking really sets that up at the net, and the synchronicity with which they work is so tremendous, and I think that adds and sort of creates the dynamicism.
It's easy to look at this team from a defensive standpoint because of Kristen Nuss and what she can do in the backcourt. It almost makes their offense kind of second tier in terms of their greatest strengths. However, they're just as offensive as they are defensive.
Certainly. And that's big 6'4" Taryn going over the top right on cue. Yeah, defensively, you know, the defender gets a lot of attention, and rightfully so in the case of Kristen Nuss. I mean, she seems to dig everything. But the reality is, you know, a blocker has to set that up well, has to set that up in a very disciplined manner. Otherwise, it makes the job back there with so much court to cover very difficult. And, you know, I mean, attackers are trying to avoid the blocker. So you're not going to get a ton of blocks as a blocker, but you still affect the play largely. And Taryn Kloth does a tremendous job of that.
Let's see how both these blockers affect the play. Xolani Hodel, the block on the other side. That one straight through the uprights.
And she's an effective blocker too, 6'1". Pretty imposing coming out of Stanford. Had the chance to watch them play a big tournament at LSU, as a matter of fact, earlier this year. And she can play some ball.
Speaking of LSU, 3 LSU products on the sand right now. Kahlee York, also out of LSU, has our both Kloth and Nuss, Team TKN.
And Kahlee York to the line.
Here's a look to Xolani Hodel. She's a 4-time All-American. First team in 23 and 24. Second team in 21 and 22. Played up at that #1 spot at Stanford. Man, was it fun to watch her develop. Just an incredibly athletic player.
Yeah,
5 different sports.
Too, of Andrew Fuller, former AVP player, and of course Billy Allen working with him. Now current AVP player. Just goes right from coaching straight into being in the main draw and being awesome on the AVP.
Yeah, and you can't forget about Lauren Fendrick, too. Spent a lot of time on that staff over at Stanford, and specifically working with Xolani on her blocking technique. Big swing for Xolani.
Yeah, very good mentor to have. Lauren, one of the best blockers in the women's game for a long, long time.
Xolani just 22 years old at Huntington Beach. She was groomed to play this sport. Tough serve to the sideline. Here's Kloth. Kloth is just so dangerous in terms of her shot selection.
I think really the only question mark for the TKN team is the service reception. Sometimes it gets a little bit squirrely, and that's kind of the only time we ever see them have any issues.
Speaking of squirrely service reception, on the opposite side of the net. Yeah, teams have really gone after Taryn Kloth in the side-out game.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, even as I said it, it seems like a given, right? If you receive the ball well, your offensive abilities are going to be better down. Wow, what a block.
That's a block right back down on York.
But that's, you know, the margins between winning and losing are very thin, especially as you get to the top of the game, which is where Team TKN resides. And so those little things make big impacts on the game.
It is the definition of a double-edged sword going at TKN. High contact for Kloth out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Now Louisiana claims her. Drew Hamilton back in the box. We didn't see him in Manhattan Beach, but nice to see him back coaching. I'm sure he was sending all the text updates, though, through MBO.
Was that wasn't some sort of West Coast protest, I hope.
I don't know. This duo had a hard time getting over to Paris. Their travel plans got a little bit dicey. I think it was Drew's first international trip, and he's like, what am I signing up for? Maybe he's like trying to stay off as many planes as he can.
Yeah, that's kind of a wild element of their story in general, is that Drew didn't travel with them at all to all the international stuff they played. Very kind of unusual, especially for the amount of success that they were able to have. I mean, it's a testament to how kind of well-oiled they are as a machine, as a unit.
I think one of the things that stood out during their Olympic run, especially in the preliminary round, was just their demeanor. And it makes me think about their ability to not have a coach in the box throughout their international play, and how that might have set them up for success in terms of game management in the biggest moments of their career.
Yeah, it is an interesting facet of the international game that your coach isn't with you in the box like they are here on the AVP. So I suppose, well, I have no doubt there was a lot of communication still between
absolutely.
Drew and his team. So it was, you know, kind of saved him some mileage and maybe some aches and pains on the knees, holding himself into airline seats.
There's a strong serve from Taryn Kloth. Cut shot no good against Kristen Nuss. Where does York go now? No space.
Yeah, I like the aggressive attempt, but yeah, it is pretty daunting.
Taryn Kloth, 6'4", played 4 seasons of indoor at Creighton before heading off to LSU. She partnered alongside Kristen Nuss. Staying on York. I mean, your high line has to be that much higher against Kloth.
Yeah, and she's still got a fingertip on it.
Back to serve, Xolani, Hodel.
Trailing 5, Hodel has been trying to add this jump top and a little bit of pressure. Looking like she might go with the jump float now.
Follows that one just off the corner. It's 12.
Yeah, it's just the relentless pressure that Kloth and Nuss put on you, right? That just kind of breaks down opponents. You feel like you have to be so precise, so perfect with every action, and that's when little mistakes tend to creep in.
Pulling off the net, but there's the live arm of Xolani Hodel.
Yeah, live indeed. I mean, that was a little bit of a misconnection in a sense. You watch this, it doesn't get all the way around the back that set as much as Xolani, I think, was initially thinking. She still just gives it a whack.
He'll take that if you're York.
Little jumbo service ace.
Breeze picking up a bit more here. York even falling out of that one, but goes corner to corner.
Yeah, that was borderline illegal. You got to be inside the confines of the sidelines to serve.
Here's Kloth into the cross court.
Yeah, I love that shot. She's just so good at utilizing her height and her length. It's kind of a, it's not really a shot, it's not a hit. It's something in between, right? It's kind of a slap roll over the top.
13 to 8. You saw the slap shot from Taryn Kloth into the technical timeout. Taryn Kloth, Kristen Nuss have solidified themselves into the inaugural league on the AVP. More volleyball than ever before coming into the fall. With their Heritage Series win at the Manhattan Beach Open, their first MBO title alongside one another. They have clinched their berth into the league, but this Chicago event is going to become so interesting as it continues on because there are spots up for grabs. Don't forget, there are 2 potential wild cards on both the men's and women's side, but you can see how things could potentially shake out. That tie at 7th is definitely something to keep your eye on.
Yeah, this is a very, very big weekend. It's real nice to have that blue dot and the little crown next to your name at the top of the list there, as we saw with Brandy and Mel, and of course Taryn and Kristen. But everyone else jockeying for those spots. And like you said, with those wild cards in play, you want to for sure have a 6 or better next to your name.
I'd even say 5 or better.
Yeah, just to make sure. You don't like to live on the edge, huh, Cam?
No. In terms of a few insurance policies on the women's side, I think a couple names fall into that category right now. Chang and Hughes, Flint Scholes, Cannon and Kraft. In terms of their location in the standings.
Good. Yep.
That's a finger block.
Right here, three.
Hodel pops that one up off the heel of her hand. A high line for the win.
Yeah, that was beautifully done too. Kind of falling away, able to wrap that up over into the corner.
One of the toughest decisions for a blocker to make is when to pull and when to stay. Hodel finding a nice one, popping that off the heel of her hand.
Look at that last shot. Nice.
Works back to the jump top. How about the side spin?
Yeah, a little wrist away, no looky cookie.
Did you say wrist away?
For people who don't like that term, you can come talk to me about it because I'm going to continue saying it, and you tell me.
Because it's a swing, right?
Well, Yeah, I mean, I don't know what people's problem is with that. And we can start with a resume comparison if you would like. You can come talk to me.
I love it, Rich Lamborn.
I mean, come get some. I got all you want on that term.
You just scored so many points in my book. Like, you were already top shelf, and now you're like way up there.
I was Clase Azul. Now I'm the black bottle.
Yes.
All right. You just hit my head and the bell rings.
Nuss on it again. So casual defensively. She's always in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, again, that's so, like, the way Taryn Kloth is at the net, just so solid, so disciplined, allows Kristen to be so patient in the backcourt behind her. So she is always making great reads, but you can see that she can just kind of pick her spot, hold, and react to what comes. And a lot of times it comes right to her.
I think the timing of their block and defense is also so fun to watch, because it's kind of that delay block and then the appropriate move from Nuss in the backcourt.
Absolutely, yeah. Great Tyler Hildebrand, who's now at USC with the women's team, used to always say, your arms are the fastest part of the chain, right, when you're blocking. So you can kind of delay. You know, if you spring out of the sand, you can't undo that. But you can throw your hands quickly if you need to speed up, right? So that delay is such a good tactic for beach blocking. And Taryn does it beautifully, as you mentioned.
That's really cool. You have to find different ways to kind of adjust that timing to your point as a beach blocker, because your roll increases so much more than maybe even indoor. Big swing and ducking out of the way is Nuss.
Yeah, one of the drawbacks, if there is such a thing, to being a bigger blocker is sort of the ability to hide is lessened. You know, you can get a sense of where Taryn is just because she is 6'4". So a lot of those timing pieces become critical for her. You know, there's obviously huge advantages to being that height as well, but she does do a nice job of playing with her timing at the net so beautifully.
You just saw one of those advantages, a bit of a tight set, goes with the poke.
Yeah, just a little step in cutty.
3 away are Kloth and Nuss from set 1. Most teams looking to jump top from this side of the net where Kloth and Nuss are. The other side, it's been a bit more of that standing float or jump float. Hodel, an example now, serving from the right side. Big swing, but York's on it. And Hodel finishes.
A really nice timing from York in the background. You see that lateral step, perfectly timed. She digs it over the net. Gives Kristen and Taryn another chance, but Hodel, great job on the block.
That serve just long. We talked about getting into the league and where the points shape up. This duo of Hodel and York, they'd have to win this event. That's really their only path into Chicago or into the league.
That's relatively daunting if you're kind of down on all the scorecards and you've got to just throw haymakers in the final round, right? Hope you catch someone on the chin.
Hodel and York are in their way into the Chicago event off of Virginia Beach, where they finished with a 5th in our Contender Series event. One arm is not enough for York. Set point for Kloth and Nuss.
Yeah, that's such an important ability to have as a defender, that ability to dig while on the move. Not easy to do.
We'll dig into that a bit more in set 2. Curious on some of your thoughts on how to keep those feet moving while also finding your platform. Here's Taryn Kloth. Set point opportunity.
Oh, I have thoughts, Kim.
I know you do. Pulling that out of the net. It's out of bounds. So set 1 to Kloth and Nuss. Looks like top seeds are showing up here in Chicago. Kloth and Nuss, again, back-to-back champions here in Chicago. This is just their first round of play. They're one set from round 2.
How about a little magic, huh?
Yeah, baby, that is right. It is time. Ladies and gentlemen, I could not be happier to be right here, right now.
We're in Austin, Dallas, Texas, for San Diego.
Get involved and have a reaction out here.
Down on the sand, Taryn, Kloth, Kristen, Nuss. They've won 20 of their last 22 AVP matches, looking for 21 right here in their first round matchup versus the 16 seed. Taryn, Kloth, Kristen, Nuss versus Xolani, Hodel, and Kahlee York. Cameron Irwin alongside Rich Lamborn. Hodel and York, they showed some really nice spots, some good offensive weapons, but where can they potentially look here in set 2?
Yeah, well, they've got to miss a few less serves, fewer serves. That's tough, though, right? Because Taryn and Kristen passing the ball well, so you start to press a little bit. It's always that kind of threshold that you're trying to find between aces and errors, service pressure and errors. I think they're doing good stuff. It's just what we're seeing is what we so often see between kind of higher seeds and lower seeds, and that's consistency. There's tons and tons of bright spots for Hodel and York, but can they do it over time? The likes of a TKN.
Consistency also can be looked at in terms of efficiency. That's 476 for Kloth and Nuss through set 1 and 154 for Hodel and York.
Yeah, Taryn snuck in several blocks there, which will hurt your hitting efficiency.
Speaking of missed serves, 3-2 start for Kloth and Nuss.
Breeze picking up a little here. Stadium for this city known for wind?
Something like that. Isn't that the nickname? Nice recycle out from York. I love it. Xolani Hodel kind of shifted away.
Yeah, sometimes you got to get a little weird. Yeah, but again, defensively, I love the discipline on that play right there. The set was wide of the antenna. Taryn just seals it so that Kristen knows it's coming across court. A good little creative play from Hodel and York.
We're going to take a side switch.
Hodel and York did play in Manhattan Beach together.
Sun Cruiser Hard Iced Tea match of the day. Sun Cruiser made with real iced tea
finished at number 17.
Vodka with no bubbles to fill you up. Head over to the beer garden.
A little bit of a different tournament, though, from Manhattan Beach to Chicago. The draw
Sun Cruiser Hard Iced Tea
decreases by half. Just 16 teams in action. How much tougher to get into these Heritage Series events.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no easing your way into a 16-team draw.
Easing her way under the point, Kristen Nuss, who unloads.
Hammering is Kristen Nuss.
That's a little glimpse of why she hasn't seen a whole lot of serves this match, maybe. Teeing off.
Kristen Nuss, 5'6", and she can still wall up the ball.
Absolutely.
Continuing to try and work the high line, chisels, does Kahlee York.
Put a little extra oomph on that one. Kind of snuck it past Taryn's arms going up.
Kahlee York moved to California back in 2021. She's pursuing professional beach volleyball as a priority in her life. She made her debut back in New Orleans on the AVP in 2022. Hodel, change of pace.
Yeah, that was nicely done.
Hodel, 5-6.
A little bit of a pump fake.
Back to serve.
Like she was going to hit the whole way and just kind of lowers the hand, wraps it over. That was really nice.
Service errors again. Starting to create a problem on the side of Hodel and York.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, you know, I mean, seems like common sense, but you want to make your opponent play, right? If they beat you, they beat you, but you don't want to beat yourself, so to speak. You don't want to kind of kill yourself with your own mistakes.
Swinging hard and good things happen.
Yeah, I like that. Tough position, but she stayed aggressive and gets rewarded.
Sixth kill for Kahlee York. High set. And that is as sharp as it comes.
Yeah,
First match for both these teams.
Really
Winner
good
plays
swing.
one more today. Loser plays
Like,
tomorrow morning.
not only going away from the body, but getting a little side spin on it too.
Double elimination tournament, 16
Taryn,
women's,
Kloth.
16 men's teams.
Putting on a
If
show.
you win your first 3 matches, you get into the semifinals.
Wild to think about her journey in her career. Started out as an indoor player. Came to the beach later on. Played outside at Creighton.
Swing high,
Made the
hands,
switch
Xolani
when she
Hodel.
transferred to LSU.
7-8.
Began her career as a professional beach volleyball player right here on the AVP tour.
Yeah, and those are starting to just get a little careless, those service errors. Standing float service, you know, you're not getting the reward from trying to hit sidelines. Just those have to be in if you hope to win this set.
7 missed serves in total on the side of Hodel and York. They're looking for the option there as well.
10-7.
10-7, and they're still within 3.
Yeah, I mean, the first set was relatively close as well. You know, if you can just kind of eliminate those things that you're doing to undermine yourselves.
Ooh. Big block. Taryn Kloth gets a hold of one.
Yeah, we saw one sneak underneath her hands just a moment ago. This one, not going to do it. And there's a nice look at that kind of delay timing that you talked about. She waits until Kahlee gets kind of committed to that angle and then just throws her hands into it real nice.
Little cagey play from Hodel.
Oh.
And then works her left hand.
There is no touch. That's out of bounds.
It's impressive how many players have that ability. I mean, she, you know, misses that one, but the thought was good. The execution just ever so slightly lacking. But
Number 2.
12-7 here, Drew Hamilton in the box, and we've talked about the career of Taryn Kloth transitioning from the indoor side of the game to beach volleyball. Here's some of her thoughts on the switch.
Why did you want to play beach after playing indoor for so long? That's a great question. I was an idiot. No, it actually took me forever to decide if I wanted to play indoor or beach volleyball. And to be completely honest, I did not think that I could. I think I'm a very stubborn person, so when I set my mind on something, I am going to do it. I'm going to finish it. I don't care what it's going to take. And I like to pick the hardest thing to do. So what is the hardest possible thing to do? Playing a professional sport in something that you just started a couple of years ago. That is way harder.
I was going to go with riding a unicycle while juggling samurai swords, but beach volleyball also very difficult.
She is now a 7-time AVP champion. Also earned the right to call herself the Pair of the Year alongside Kristen Nuss. When she was at LSU, she's the first team All-American. She did the hardest thing possible, becoming an Olympian. Did such a nice job in Paris, especially in that preliminary round.
It's an interesting description she made of herself, that she's stubborn when she sets her mind to something she's going to do. I would call that determination more so than stubborn. I mean, you know, maybe there are stubborn elements to that, but you have to admire the ability to stick to something that you set your mind to.
Sticking with the swing there, Taryn Kloth, that's one more.
6-2 run here in set.
Kloth already passed 10 kills, double-digit kills. She's now up to 15. 24 attempts, hitting 542. That's hard to stop.
Yeah, that's another thing Hodel and York might want to think about in the second half of this set. Is I mean, Taryn Kloth is in an unbelievable rhythm offensively. You've got to throw a couple Kristen's way.
And Alyssa, Ashley and Flynn out of New Orleans, is that right? And Alyssa, you're from Cincinnati.
And to your point, Kristen Nuss, just 5 attempts. But, I mean, we love to have some fun on the AVP. Mark Sherman, it's time for some dizzy bat. I'm shocked Kevin's not out there.
When I say you're done, I count down from 10, you're going to come give me a high five. First one to give me a high five is the winner. Here we go, start spinning in 3, 2, 1.
I mean, Taryn talked about beach volleyball being difficult. I've done this before. This might be more difficult.
Yeah. I like the girl on the left who just spins with the bat.
That's cheating.
Yeah, that is cheating. I don't know that it lessens your vertigo necessarily, but oh yeah, there you go.
We've already dropped 2.
I mean, how are you not just swinging at your opponents with the bat is my question.
I asked Kevin yesterday what is one of the wildest things that he would ever want to call. Have you ever heard of car jujitsu? Because it is a real sport now. I'm saying we're calling dizzy bat. Why not?
Is that where you fight inside the car?
Yes.
Yeah. I have seen clips of that. That is wild. I also saw a clip of something the other day.
Yes. It was like watching the baby crawl.
That was our girl that was spinning with the bat, though. We might need to file a protest.
Challenge. Throw up the square.
Cincinnati for the win. There you go.
We need the line replay here. Look at this. A little crime happening to the right side.
A few years back in the Winter Olympic Games in the short track speed skating, have you ever watched? I mean, it's like roller derby on it. That exact scenario happened. This Australian kid is dead last, and everyone in front of him crashed, and he won the gold medal. And he was so awesome because he wasn't up there like puffing his chest out like he was almost like sheepish in accepting it. Like I can't believe it happened, but he won a gold medal in that exact scenario. Just everyone wiped out in front of him. He skated past the finish line. It was beautiful.
It's like staying at the back of the race, letting the destruction happen in front of you, just skating right on by.
Absolutely.
I imagine there's not much ice in Australia. Kloth and Nuss, 14-8 here in the second set. 5-17 as a team.
Make it 15.
That is devastating. The cut shot of Kristen Nuss, we've seen it so often. Never gets less impressive.
What are the keys to a cut shot?
Yeah, I mean, it's contact. She does such a nice job of keeping it outside on her right shoulder, too, so she doesn't really give it away. And then her contact on the ball is so crisp.
How about that move from from Xolani Hodel.
Hodel, the much needed kill for 9-15.
Step out cross-court hammer.
That was a physical move on those last 2 steps from Xolani Hodel.
Yeah, there's no doubt she's got a lot of tools out there. Again, it's just for this team of Hodel and York, it's just kind of putting together the consistency of execution. Because they've got plenty to work with.
Kloth to the corner. Nuss handcuffs York on the serve. Option. Another point for TKN.
Yeah, and that's something that has to be upgraded a little bit, right? Casey Patterson, our former booth mate from Manhattan Beach a couple weeks ago, would call that the JV angle that kind of goes directly to the corner, right to the defender.
What was that one? Just
Nuss nearly stole that off the top of the net. Kloth and Nuss again looking to find a 3-peat here in Chicago. This is just the first step, facing off versus the number 16 seed. Back set. Go, 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 go. And it still works.
Yeah, she's done such a nice job of kind of that good blend of hard hits, shots, slaps. Really an impressive offensive performance all the way around from Taryn.
A look to what's coming up on Stadium Court. Humana Paredes and Wilkerson. That is the silver medalist from Team Canada. They'll be out on the sand as they return to the AVP. Missed them in Manhattan Beach. Stoked to see them here in Chicago.
It is 19.
Another error
for the Olympians,
stacked on the side of Hodel and York. You also saw the update as DeBerg and Harward took down the 10 seed. They will face off against Chang and Hughes at 2 o'clock here on Stadium Court.
Beautiful side out from Hodel and York. 11-19 will be Kahlee and York at the line.
Kahlee York trying to find a few here. Perfect platform from Nuss.
It is match point.
Unbelievable.
For
Nobody
TKN.
cuts quite like Nuss. Match point for TKN. Hodel slightly out of system, and she hammers.
Great dig, but it
I love it. When in trouble, just swing hard.
12-20 will be match point number
Good
2.
attempt, and I mean that's the level of competitors that these girls are. She's upset with herself at 20-12 that she didn't get that one as well.
Match point remains for Kloth and Nuss. Kloth steals it from the middle.
Go, 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 go.
The high line seals the win. Moving on to round number 2.
12 in straight sets, TKN.
Yeah, just a solid performance top to bottom from TKN there.
Taryn and Kristen looking for the 3-peat in Chicago. The first step, a 2-set win over the number 16 seed. Hodel and York will move on to the contenders bracket, trying to find some extra points. But an outstanding performance from the number 1 seed. They will face off now against either Simo Van Winkle or Denenberg and Kraft, currently in progress on our outer courts. Here's a look at some of the highlights. Rich, what impressed you the most about Taryn, Kloth, Kristen, Nuss in this early round?
Yeah, I talked about kind of the offensive variety from Taryn Kloth in particular. She saw the lion's share of the serves. Her service reception was great, and that really facilitated her putting out that beautiful kind of mixture of hits, shots, slaps. There was really no leaks in their game. They served great. They played blocking defense wonderfully. And I think this might be one of my favorite things about their squad is just the general vibe. They're calm. Coach Drew Hamilton, calm. There's a very relaxed, just kind of business-like sense about their squad. And to me, that leads to why they've been so consistent, so good.
That trio is undoubtedly invested in one another and have been since their time at LSU. It was all three of them, right? And Drew Hamilton stuck with it and said, we're going to take this all the way to Paris, which is exactly what they accomplished. Coming up next, it's Humana Paredes and Wilkerson facing off against Furch and Shaw right here on your Stadium Court coverage.